Radio Rahim with Adam Smith. I mean, looking tropical, looking well, smiles on his face. I love it. This is the kind of event that really brings a smile to all boxing fans' face. And you're much more than a boxing fan. You're an analyst and an icon. So you know, probably as if not better than Eddie himself, how deep this rivalry runs and how long this kind of deep-seated tension between the families has existed. So when you see these two men on the stage together, not just in this rivalry, but shaking hands before, what comes to mind? Like,
wake me up. Is it a dream? Is it a nightmare? I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't recovered from when they shook hands at Wembley a few months ago. Well done, Turkey Al-Sheikh, for doing this. Absolutely incredible, because I worked with Frank Warren for 15 years, Eddie Hearn for over a decade, and there was no love lost, let me tell you. And what Eddie said up there about Frank Warren being the two words that weren't allowed in the Hearn household. I know Barry well. I've known Eddie. We've obviously worked together extremely closely. Frank, not as close, but we've worked together a long time, and I know George very well. Listen, they're all great promoters, and it's just brilliant having Frank and Eddie clashing, but also sort of working together and putting on this fantastic competition and new entertainment for fight fans. We've got 5 terrific 50-50, genuine 50-50, top-level fights. Plus, you got Dimitri Bivol as well as a sprinkling on the cake. And the rivalry between Frank and Eddie is so deep that we all just want to watch them all night too. It's I don't know where our attention's going to be, on the scoring, on the fights, on the promoters. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, boxing is changing, and it's incredible what they're doing here. Times Square behind us. You have Eddie and Frank on these big screens, and we've been to Vegas, we've been to obviously we have massive fights in Britain at Wembley, it's been huge stadiums in Germany, but this is different. And in the last year, Turkey and Dr. Rakan have turned it on its head, boxing, and it's brilliant because the fighters and the fans are the ones rewarded.
They've admitted on the stage that there will be no humility in victory, that they intend to grind it in and absolutely take each other through the ringer. If one is victorious over the other, they're going to show no mercy. So who do you think? I know there's a string of 50-50 fights and all of that, but who's got the edge come Saturday night?
It was funny, Francis Warren came over to me and said, I'm getting you a Team Queensbury shirt. And if I went against Matchroom, I'd never be allowed at Maskell's again. Obviously, they're my friends, Matchroom. I've worked so closely with them, but I'm very fond of George and Queensbury too. So let's look at the fights. I think that's the easiest way to do it. Okay. I think I slightly lean towards Craig Richards in the opener. I think Craig's just a little bit more experienced. I think he's got his hunger, not the hunger that ever left and the dedication, but maybe the belief. And Shane McGuigan's a really top trainer. I like Willy Hutchinson. I think he's a really good fighter, but I wonder if it's come a tad too early. I think I fancy Richards just to have a bit more pedigree and a little bit more seasoning in that one. Then we go to the world featherweight title fight. I'm a big fan of Ray Ford's. I like him. Brian Peters is a good friend of mine. He doesn't mess around with people that can't fight, let me tell you that. Ray Ford's a good fighter. He was a tough one last time, and it was recently. Nick Ball had a tough one recently. So it's a close fight. Nick Ball will bring all the drive, all the energy, and he's a relentless machine. But I just think Ford, with equality and skills, could be a fight of two halves. Fascinating one. That maybe slightly leaning towards Team Matchroom, which gives them a couple. But then you come into Hamzah Sheeraz, who I think is one of the best young fighters in the world today. I really like him. I like not only his skill set, his beautiful jab, right hand, lovely body shots, the way he goes about his opponents, but I love his attitude, and he's taking himself away to America. And I just think he's a star in the making. But, Radio Rahim, this is an acid test for him, because Ammo Williams is really tough and really fancies this. And Eddie, you can sort of read between the lines. He knows they're the underdog in this one, and Hamzah is captain for a reason for Queensbury. But Ammo Williams is going to really take him, I think, to the level that Hamzah Sheeraz will go. And I think Hamzah Sheeraz will get through it. I think it will be a hard affair, but I think Sheeraz wins on that. So you're making it sort of 2-1, but then the captain's points, I don't know, his knockouts, or we don't know about that. Just looking at the fights, but the heavyweights, can you tell me? Because I can't tell you.
You ask me today, I'll say one thing. You ask me tomorrow, I'll say the other.
Filip Hrgovic should beat Daniel Dubois. He's got the tools. He's got the height, the reach, the experience, the pedigree. But he's a bit crazy, and he went walkabouts in that Zhang fight and didn't win, in my opinion. Daniel Dubois with Don Charles, who I love as a trainer. He's got a bit between his teeth. He's in very, very good shape. He just could just prove too much and win rounds on work rate. I think it's a really good fight. Hrgovic should win, Dubois could. And then the other one is madness. It's almost as mad as the promoters themselves going at each other in 5v5. Zhilei Zhang, how he didn't beat Joseph Parker, and I love Joseph Parker, probably the nicest guy in boxing. Joseph Parker came back because Zhilei Zhang fell asleep. He had him beaten, and he was terrible in the second half of that. All credit to Joe and Andy Lee, and then Joe beat Deontay Wilder more convincingly. Deontay looked terrible that night, has the trilogy with Tyson Fury taken too much out of him, but the concussive power, the biggest single puncher since Ernie Shaver, since Lennox Lewis, he can really bang. But so can Big Bang, Zhang. So the winner of that might win it.
Well, the winner of that, with the bang versus the bomb, is certainly the one that's got to be an odds-on favorite. But Wilder being very realistic with me, saying that if he doesn't win Saturday night,
It's over?
It's over.
I think that's right. I think Deontay has had a great career. Remember, he was a bronze medalist in the Olympics, and he's never had quite the boxing skills that maybe a Tyson Fury or an AJ have had, but he has been so exciting to watch. And if it is over, if he's run out of gas, if it's the end of the road, then we've had a phenomenal time with Deontay Wilder. But you know what? Because of his power, never, ever write off the Bronze Bomber. And wouldn't we love to see him come back and maybe have a crack at AJ? I mean, it's still keep it alive. I just, there's something in the air that I feel Deontay Wilder could find an answer, but maybe when he's behind and maybe when he's been on the floor.
Yeah, well, let's extrapolate out maybe if some of these ifs come to pass. For instance, if Hrgovic is able to beat Dubois and the Joshua fight happens at Wembley as Eddie Hearn is promising, that's a third potential title fight and win for Joshua. But do you see the IBF actually stripping Usyk and making that title available?
One good thing about you and I is that we're not part of the mad, crazy governing bodies with all the belts. And it was great that it became undisputed for the first time in 25 years. How long it will stay undisputed and become a bit more disputed, we wait and see. We didn't get Bivol Beterbiev on this bill, which was a real shame. Good to see Dimitri, because I love watching him anyway, on the bill still. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going to be on the line. If the IBF title is, and AJ wants to be a three-time champion, he's going to be here. He's going to watch up close. Hrgovic and Dubois going at it, and he'll have to start favourite on the form he's showing under Ben Davison against either of them at Wembley. And comes through that. Then you've got the rematch of Usyk and Fury. And I said to Coogan just a few minutes ago, I think AJ Fury happens next spring. But I'm not
December.
No, I think
AJ Fury. I'm sorry.
AJ Fury happens next spring, but I don't know whether Fury beats Usyk because he didn't beat him this time. So can he beat him a second time behind his jab? Maybe a quicker start, possibly. But if Fury wins, yeah, he goes straight into an AJ fight, I guess, 1-1. But then do you have a trilogy? I think we're being eaten by things.
Right.
We're being eaten by things.
No, I would never allow it.
It's late at night.
Yes.
It is slightly warm.
Yeah. Oh, it's a cooker. It's a cooker.
My water is boiling.
It's daytime warm in the middle of the night.
This is Finnish, this water.
Yes.
Where were we? Oh, and AJ. There's so many great fights to make, and the heavyweight division, the magic pot that the Saudis have brought together, that Turkey Al Sheikh is mixing up. More's going to come out, more entertainment, maybe more 5v5s. So much. But you know something, Izzy Asif, my CEO, my promoter, GBM Sports, little plug there, the growing outfit. Did you see our show last Friday? York Hall, Bethnal Green, absolutely packed, atmosphere, unreal, fights and nights. We come back June 29th in Coventry. Izzy's getting hungry, so I'm going to have to go because Izzy hungry is not a good Izzy to be around.
He's hungry like that little bug that was on your neck there.
He's hungry to be the promoter. He respects and looks up to Eddie and Frank, and he wants to be up there with them. I believe he will be, but I've got to get him fed. So
nobody tells Adam Smith what to do. But you know what? I'm going to let you go, and we're going to see you again tomorrow. And on Saturday night, ringside, you can't have a fight of this magnitude without Adam Smith in the building, ringside, and we'll discuss it post-fight. You go get a bite, and we'll go take a clip. Radio Rahim with Adam Smith.